Hi everyone, today we are going to be colouring this piece from, this is in Ivy and the Inky Butterfly. It's quite an innocent looking vine and lantern with some stars, but we are going to be doing something a bit fun and a bit different with it to give it a bit of a Halloweeny vibe. I thought to start with it would be fun to do the background in some shades of purple. And then we'll do the green spine. Hopefully it will bring it out and stand out, and we've got the lantern to think about as well. So I'm using Polychromos. I'm going to grab a few different shades that I've got. I'm just having a think about what might work. We've got a blue violet there. We've got the mauve. They're going to roll all over the place. We have got this one, which I think is just a violet. I'm going to check. 136 purple violet, sorry. And we've got this one, which is the manganese violet, I think. No, that's the manganese violet. That little one is the blue violet. One of these is the blue violet. Hang on. The 137. That's 136. That's 139. 136. Purple violet and blue violet. Anyways, I shall double check as I go. I'm going to use this mix of colour to do a fun background. So I'm going to start with my darkest purple, and that is the blue violet, and we're going to go. And what we're going to do is go in the corner and just do a little section. The idea is to do a darker bit and then fade it out like that. And then pick another area and do a similar thing. I'm not going to worry about these leaf stalks there. I'm just going to colour over them. Do a little bit around here as well, because it's going to be behind this vine. And just try and get that an even fade if you can. And sort of, you want to do a random but not random, as I've said before. So you want it to be sort of spaced all over the place to look as random as you can without making it look too placed. So it's a bit tricky, but anyway. You can have fun with this, do whatever you want. You have to copy exactly how I'm doing it. My idea here is try and fade it a bit as we go towards the edge. A bit there. Yeah, now I'm not going to do a lighter area around the lantern. I find that quite difficult. And so I'm just going to not. We'll do something a little bit different instead with the lantern light. Once we get there. So this is rather like a galaxy background that I've done a video of before, but we're just using all purples this time. Let's do a bit up here. And we'll see how it works out really. A bit of an experiment. It's nice to have a blending pencil if you're doing this, but you can use the light purple. I'm going to use the next colour down, which is 249, it's the mauve. Okay, and again just finding where to put it really. It's quite a similar colour, so I might not do too much of it because I want to get a bit of a contrasting colour between the different elements. Make sure you get right up to the edge if you can. There we go. Now, because we've got stars and things in the sky, we can emphasise those as well later, which is fine. If you go over the edges slightly, don't panic. It happens all the time to me. I want to keep it fun, not worry about these things. It's not about perfection, it's about enjoyment. Do a little bit up there. Touch. There we go. Right, next one is a lighter shade. I want to save my lighter shade till last. Here we go. This one is 138. Oh, my eyesight isn't good enough. 138, which is violet. Just a plain violet. We'll join a bit in there, look. Blend it together. Fade it out around the stars. The stars are going to be coloured in pen on mine, so I'm not too worried about if I go over the line. If you don't have pen, and you can gel pen or paint pen, then you need to be a little bit more careful. This is a nice colour, isn't it? I rather like it anyway. I'm always a fan of all shades of purple. Though it was my purple was my wedding flowers colour. It was very trendy at the time when I got married to have purple flowers and purple wedding-y things like bridesmaids dresses, etc. When was it? 2000 I got married. Long time ago. I've gone over the leaf there. Not going to worry. Just going to keep going with my demo. I need to fill in that little gap there though. Here. You have to join this up to every other purple. Do a bit over here on its own, just so it's doesn't look like it's always joined to something else. And down here. Yeah, it's a happy day. It was a cold December day, but sunny and fresh. I do like winter weather anyway. I had a long sleeve dress, so it was nice and warm. The hotel we were in had beautiful open fire and Christmas decorations. It was lovely. Such fun. It is fun having an anniversary around Christmas, but it can be tricky to have time to think about it, really. We always do celebrate the day and give each other a card, but don't do presents because it's too close to Christmas. That's okay. It's doesn't matter really. We do Christmas presents instead, so it's fun. It's not really, it's just that we don't have time to organise it all. And it's fine. We always make sure we have a nice day. My husband usually takes the day off work, and the children are always off school or college or whatever. And so we go out somewhere or have a lunch out or something like that. It's nice. Do it as a family. Okay, I'm going to make that do for that one. And I am going to now do the Manganese Violet, this one, and I'm going to fill in most of the gaps with this one. It's a slightly different colour, it's a pinker shade, which I rather like. I'm leaving a few bits for our paler colour to come in at the end, but not too much. I want to make sure it's quite nice, filled in, pretty. You can see that they blend together quite well. Sometimes purples aren't easy, but if you just fade them a bit into each other, works quite well. And it doesn't matter if it's a little bit not blended because the colours are quite similar. Hi everyone, sorry about the phone rang when I was in the middle of doing that background, and I also got a lovely parcel through the post, which was this brush. Now this is something that was on my Amazon wish list, which someone has very kindly sent me. I'm just opening the packet. I don't know who though, there was no label in the packet, so if it was you, thank you very, very much. And here it is, the brush. Oh, it comes with a bit of plastic. Oops. It comes in a case. Oh, there we go. Now I asked for this. It's quite big, isn't it? It's just brilliant. So I can brush my page. with the, oh, it's beautifully soft. Look. Lovely. So that is a really, really useful gift. So thank you so much. It's lovely getting gifts through the post. Thank you so much, whoever that was from. I really want to thank you personally. If you could drop me a little note either through Instagram. I'm going to carry on colouring, by the way, using my Manganese Violet, either through email, you can email me, or through Instagram or something like that. Just let me know who it was, because I'd really love to send you a little personal thank you for that, because that's brilliant. It'll be so useful. Could have done it with it earlier on this page, couldn't I? I was blowing the page a little bit. So that is brilliant. I've just got to remember to use it now, because get into the habit of remembering that I've got one, because it's brilliant. So thank you so much for that. That was really near the top of my wish list, because that was one that I knew that would be really, really useful. So I'm just carrying on with this colour like I was doing before the phone rang. I've been on the phone for an hour. So that was nice, having a nice natter with my mum. It's quite a welcome break from doing all this intense background, actually. So I would recommend it if you're doing this, because it can feel a bit, I know it's not even a big area, but it can feel a bit intense doing so much. Right, I'm going to leave that there and grab my lightest colour. Just looking, I don't know if that is the lightest. Anyway, this one is 136, which is Purple Violet. I've used this one. Is that the lighter one? No, it is lighter. And what I'm going to do is go over quite a lot of the areas with this, just give it a sharpen, and try and sort of bring it all together. So we've got this corner first. So I'm going to go into the corner, but sort of try and start smudging the colours together a little bit. We can use a blender for this as well later. I've actually put a different light on since starting to record again, which I hope might be a little bit better with regards to shadowing and things. It's the day's brightened up a little bit too, which is good. We got some sunshine now, so that's nice. Because it's winter sunshine, it's quite low. It doesn't always come in at the right angle, but anyway. So I'm just sort of darkening areas that I think need a little bit of extra colour, trying to blend areas together. Really, there's no sort of proper science or method, it's all a bit random, really. But I just want every bit of paper now to be covered with some purple. And then we'll do some blending in a minute with, I think I'll use a blender because it'll be a little bit better, because if I use the colour, then it will change the colour of the different purples, and I quite like them to sort of stand out as different, even though I'm overlapping them all a little bit. I want some of them to stand out in their own right, as it were, rather than all being coloured over with something that will then change their colour, if you know what I mean. And my poor mum, I was on the phone to her, she was trying to do some knitting. She unpicked it twice. I was being really distracting talking to her, I think. Anyway, we were just talking about the family news and bits and bobs. Telling her how well my boys are settled into college. It's really good. They've when they started secondary school when they were 11, going to a new school, not knowing anybody. It took my one son probably until Christmas to settle in, and my other one took until Easter. It's quite a tricky transition, but college, now I'm recording this in advance, I'm trying to think how long they've been there, probably 4 weeks maybe, and they already seem perfectly settled into it all, know what they're doing. But quite a few of their friends have gone with them from their school, so I think that has helped a lot. And they're used to getting a bus and that sort of thing. They have free periods where they can chill a little bit. Obviously they are supposed to be working, but sometimes they just chill and do their work at home instead at the weekend, and there's not too much pressure on them at the minute. There are tests. They've just done a test in maths, I think. Yeah, maths yesterday. They got a test back. They did very well. one son, they're both doing maths. One got 80%, the other one got 71%, which I thought was pretty good going. I'm going to find a blending pencil. I'm just looking to try and find the one I want. Here it is. No, that's not it. She lies. Oh, this one will do. This is my Prismacolor colourless blender. It's quite a good one. Polychromos, Faber Castell. As far as I'm aware, they don't do one. So just have to make do with other brands, but they all work well with Polychromos, I find. And what you'll find happens with the blender is that it will smush the colours together. It will get rid of the white paper a little bit more because it will slightly burnish it and just make it pretty purpley mix of background, hopefully. And I just need to go over the whole thing. Now I'm definitely going to need my brush in a minute, aren't I? With this bit. Getting quite a lot of little bits on the page. We'll do that in a minute. Try it out. I'm sure it'll work really well. But yeah, oh, we've got a little gap there, look. I'm just going to colour that in. Okay. You could, as I say, go over with another colour or do another layer of the colour that you've done. If you want a more intense colour, then you would need to go over in another layer of the colour. I don't want this particularly dark. I think it's quite nice being a bit pale. I just like it. It's just personal taste thing really, isn't it? And also just doing one layer is a bit quicker, a bit easier. So that all helps too. If you want ease. I'm trying not to get it over the leaves, but it is going over them a little bit. I'm not going to stress out about that. I'm also I'm not at all worried about it going over the edge onto this line here, because that's going to be coloured in eventually with probably with pen. I quite like doing the borders with the pen because the pen is more intense and defined, and I think that can work quite well when you want a border, you know. So I'll probably use a pen of some description. I'm guessing now it might be silver. I think that works quite well with the Halloweeny colours, but we'll see. It might even be black. As I say, I'll see what I feel. I may even wait until I do the right hand page to get it all working together, because the right hand page is similar to this page in that it's made of little sections, but the right hand page, it's not scary, it's quite different in mood, so I think it's quite nice to have a contrast of the two pages, with this one being a little more, it's not really scary, but you know, a bit darker, and then that one being more light and positive. So anyway. Now with the stars, you've got different options with regards to colour. You can do gold or silver, sort of gel pens, or yellow or white. I'm trying to think at the moment what option to go for. I want something that's going to show up against the purple. I'm not sure that yellow it does go with purple, but I'm not sure it's the colour. It's a bit warm. And although the lantern's going to be warm, you know, this is Halloween. It's very cold and scary. So maybe silver or white might give a better sort of atmosphere to the picture. I think I've nearly done it all. Let's give it another brush. There's a bit here, look. Wow, that brush is going to be so useful. So mystery person, thank you so much. Thank you. I may have found out who you are by the time this video goes out, but anyway. Now I'm blowing it, but I shouldn't be. I should be using the brush. just being fussy and getting in all those little corners and little edges. There we go. Oh, over here. Okay, so I'm going to do the foliage next, and I thought that I might just keep it quite simple because we've got quite a mixed up background. There's going to be other colours in the background as well eventually. I'm just going to do that bit where it's white. So there's going to be some, it's not just going to be, I'm not just going to fill in the stars, I'm going to do some dots and bits and bobs in there as well. So I think I just do the foliage quite plain. Now I want to do it green, and I want to do it a sort of slimy greeny colour, but I want it to be a little bit darker because we've gone over the edges a bit. So I'm not going to use the very lightest green. I think I'm going to grab this one. Now, whoops, I'll just throw it. This one here. This I think is the light phthalo green. I think it might be the dark one, it might be the mid one. I really can't. Let me see. Hang on, I can do it by process of elimination. That's 6-1. That's 6-4. 6-1. 6-4. Yeah, it is. I'm pretty sure it's the light phthalo green. There we go. And I'm just going to use it on all of this in quite a plain. I want it to stand out, so I don't want to do too much light shading. I don't want it to be really dark. I want it to almost look fluorescent. So I'm hoping that by just doing a simple but quite dark layer, I've been really heavy-handed with this, that it will stand out from the background, but I really want it to be the background that shines, or you know, is the star of this page. Sorry, you probably can't see, but I'm basically just colouring it in. So I said there's a lot going on this page. There's a lot to do on this video, so do take a break if you need to and come back to it. It really helped me having that little phone call break. Sometimes it's nice to have a little break. You probably can't really see. Now these polychromos don't tend to have lots of debris on the page, but some brands do. So with the brush, I'll find I'll probably use it more with certain brands than others, but that's absolutely fine. As I say, when blending, you could see that I needed it. Now when you've done this, you'll see that white bits appear in the background where I haven't gone right up to the edge of what I'm colouring, and so might want to fill those in. That is one disadvantage of doing your background first, is that you may have to go back and just add to it after. But if you do it last, then you may find that you haven't chosen your foreground colours wisely and it doesn't really work. So there are pros and cons of both, doing both ways. If I've got a big background, I actually do it simultaneously with the foreground so that it's not so boring. If you're doing a background all in similar colours, it can sometimes get a bit dull. I'm always doing this colour and I want a change. So sometimes I do a little bit of background and the foreground that goes near it, and then swap back. And then it does mean you've got a pile of pencils on the go, but that's fine. And it can just break it up a bit. And that's also if you're doing pen. If you do if you're doing a whole black background or something, that can get quite tedious. I find my arm really aches and I get a blister on my little finger from rubbing it on the page with pencil, because I'm always lifting it and changing pencil, so I keep lifting my hand off the page. I don't get the same sort of fatigue in my hand as I do with a pen. I know people find pencils tricky because you're pressing harder, so you get fatigue in that way. But I'm used to that, so I don't tend to struggle with that. So it just all just depends, doesn't it, on what you're doing really, and what you're used to doing. So anyway, That's a little tip, so mix it up a bit if it's beginning to feel a bit tedious or a bit tricky. Well, look, that one goes off the page. I guess that end does as well, doesn't it? So I hope you can see how that's standing out now, which is nice. I'm going to do the lantern. Now I'm thinking, I'm just going to grab my violet and just sort of go around these edges and fill in where I think there's a white bit, just so that we don't get, it doesn't look too odd. And thinking about the lantern colour. Now the lantern could be silver, could be gold. Now although I like doing gold, I think it's quite cool, I'm thinking that because we've got a candlelight in there, if we do it gold it might sort of get lost in the light, and also it's nice and warm, and do we want a warm colour? I don't think we do. So what I'm going to do is do it silver. Silver's quite easy, I think, if you're used to it. So I'm going to go, you need coal greys for your silver. I'm going to use the same colours as we did for the butterfly body. I'm pointing to it, you can't see it, it's out of shot. So the cold grey 6 to start with in the really dark area. So I'm thinking under here and under here, and then up here and here. Then the edges of these bits, here and here. I'm thinking about what colour to do the candle while I'm doing this. Under here, look, this bit, we want this bit to look like it's sticking out a bit. Under here, and under here. Like that. And then we go down to the cold grey 4 there, and we extend that a little bit. Now we have to remember with silver to leave some white paper. If you've gone over the edge here or here, anywhere, probably nowhere else, be careful, because you need it to look white, so you may need to erase that a little bit. You could potentially use a bit of white pen though. I find it better to leave the paper. For me, I think it looks better. I'm trying to work out what to do with these bits. I think I'll do it at the bottom like that here, or extend that bit, extend that. I'm not going to go down 2 shades for this one. I'm going to just go down to the cold grey 3, and this will be my final colour. So I'm going to try to bring it quite close to the centre, but still leave some white, so we've got that impression of shine. And it might not look like silver, it might look more like pewter, but it doesn't matter as long as it sort of looks metallic and shiny. That's the impression I'm trying to give. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Now we have got the flame. I'm never quite sure whether to do the flame in a yellow or an orange, so I'm going to go for a compromise. I'm going to use this colour, which is the dark chrome yellow, so it's slightly orangey yellow. I'm going to use that for the flame. I know it's a flame wouldn't be the same colour all the way through, but we have only got a small space. The candle itself, I'm thinking red or orange. I think I'm going to go red. Let's get a nice red. Now let's go for Scarlet Red. Okay. And again, I'm going to try and do a little bit of shine on the candle, nothing too fancy. So I've done a dark outline each side. I'm going to bring that in towards the middle with a lighter hand and just try and leave the slightest bit of white for a little bit of shine. There we go. Now, around inside here, I'm going to do yellow. I'm using the Cadmium Yellow, okay, to go around here. I want this to be quite bright. I know it isn't very Halloweeny to have a really warm colour, but you know, there's a candle there. It's going to be bright, isn't it? Okay, and now we're just going to finish with the stars. Now, whoops, I've decided that I'm going to do them in silver, and I'm going to hope they show up. If they don't show up enough, I might go over them in another colour. The joy with using a Posca pen is that once it's dry, you can go over the top of it. So I'm going to do all these stars first. Hang on, I need to just get it writing. Oh, it doesn't want to write. I'm going to shake it again. Sorry. We may have to do a different colour if this decides it's not going to work. Oh, it is. What you do with these is you shake them and then you press the nib hard so it retracts right into the pen. You do that a few times. You can do it really hard. It doesn't feel the right way to treat a pen, but it is what you do, and then it gets the ink flowing. Yeah, as I say, it feels like you shouldn't be being that naughty with a pen, but I am gonna do some white. I've decided silver isn't showing up well enough for me. It does a little bit in the light, but I'm gonna grab some white. What shall I use for my white? I use my jelly roll. There we go. And I'm going to do some dots and things. So I'm going to do some Johanna Basford-esque groups of dots. She usually does a group of 3. Like this. And it sort of, I think it makes it look a bit more magical. And we can do some like this. Again, Johanna does these. Although I can't draw, I can just about manage to do this sort of thing. Sometimes I'm going to do a few pairs of dots here and there. Do one there. And it's not going to show up hugely because we haven't got a really intensely dark background. But hopefully, just do a few odd dots. It will show up enough to make a little bit of a magical background for us. And actually our light's catching those silver stars quite well. So that's me, that's that one done. So I hope you enjoyed that one. I did. I had great fun colouring it in, and I hope you have a go at it. So thank you very much for watching, and happy colouring.